Hi, I'm Mario Anderson, and welcome to In Focus Kentucky, the show where we take a look at issues that matter to you. Each week we talk directly to the lawmakers and community leaders who help shape policy and law that affects you. This week is National Agriculture Week, with National Ag Day falling on the 14th of March. Both recognition events are about educating consumers about where their food, fiber, and fuel come from. Ryan Quarles was elected Kentucky's Commissioner of Agriculture in 2015, and during his first term in office, the Kentucky Department of Agriculture has started several new programs, including creating several initiatives to fight hunger and connecting Kentucky farmers with new markets. And the Commissioner has led the charge to grow Kentucky's industrial hemp program. And Commissioner Quarles joins us now in the studio. Thanks so much for joining us today on In Focus Kentucky.
Glad to be here during National Agriculture Week. It's one of the most fun weeks for my job as we celebrate what's best about Kentucky. And when you travel the world, you tell people you're from Kentucky, they ask you about our horses, they ask you about our bourbon, and they ask you about Kentucky Fried Chicken. And all three of those are agricultural products, and in our state, we are good at growing everything from apples to zucchinis and everything in between. And for me, it's an opportunity to tell a story to consumers who may not know where exactly their food comes from.
And talk about this process that we've mentioned, that you've been in office since 2015, and I'm sure it's been a whirlwind the last several years, and even within the last year or so, you've been very active across the state, in Frankfort, but also in Washington, D.C. So how's just been the process of being the Agriculture Commissioner been so far for you?
Being the Commissioner of Agriculture is a dream job. I oftentimes look back when I was in middle school, when I first saw Commissioner Billy Ray Smith working the lines at the Kentucky State Fair, and that's when the seed was planted for me, quite literally, to look at this as a dream job. I serve as a key communicator between our farm community, those 76,000 farms in our state, and our consumer, who increasingly wants to know more about where their food comes from. I love my job. We've had a lot of fun in the last few years, and we have several accomplishments, including a growing Kentucky State Fair, which was voted the #1 state fair in America. We're also literally supporting our farmers markets. We have 168 farmers markets in our state, and that continues to grow. And perhaps the most fun part of my job is working with our youth. Right now, we're helping fundraise for 4-H and FFA and Kentucky Proud. And since becoming Commissioner of Agriculture, I'm proud that we've raised $1.8 million to invest in the future of Kentucky agriculture.
One of the big staples of your time and your term during office is wanting Kentucky to be in the front lines of a national leader in hemp production, hot topic in our state, but also across the country as well. But share with us why this has been a top priority for you.
Industrial hemp connects Kentucky's past to its future. You don't have to look very far anywhere in Kentucky to see the vestiges and fingerprints of where industrial hemp once thrived in our state. Bringing it back to life, and with Leader McConnell's language and support from our federal delegation to legalize it once again for the first time in over 2 generations, gives Kentucky the opportunity to be first in something instead of last. Kentucky decided to lead on this issue, and today we're reaping the benefits. We have over 120 hemp companies in our state processing product that our farmers are growing. We have over 1,000 farmers signed up to grow hemp in 2019. With the potential of over 45,000 acres grown this year. Other states continue to look towards Kentucky, towards leadership, but I'm so proud that here in Kentucky, we took a plant that sometimes is often misunderstood, a plant that my great-grandfather grew during World War II when the U.S. Navy needed rope, and we brought it back to life. And the best part about it is that there's hundreds of jobs that exist today that simply did not exist a couple years ago because the Commonwealth decided to bring back a crop back from the dead, and we're making money, we are creating jobs, and we're creating an environment of innovation right here in our state.
And let's talk about the Kentucky being the first state in the nation to apply for the USDA approval of its hemp program, and you personally were in Washington to deliver Kentucky's hemp plan. So for viewers that may not be aware of what that plan entails, but also some of the next steps in this process, update us on that.
Sure. So the 2018 Farm Bill, which got passed in December of 2018, included a provision where states can submit their own industrial hemp plans to the United States Department of Agriculture. President Trump invited me to be at the White House during the signing of the 2018 Farm Bill, and while the ink was drying on the Farm Bill, I was able to personally deliver the first state plan in the nation, our Kentucky plan to the United States Department of Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue. And we are going to help the USDA develop their own federal framework. We have already had several meetings, both in Washington, D.C., and we hope to bring them here to Kentucky in the near future as well to learn about this crop. And we are so excited that Kentucky's leadership in this role has earned us a position at the table as we move forward.
Well, we're excited that you're here to join us on In Focus Kentucky, and we're just getting the conversation started, so we will continue the conversation with Commissioner Ryan Quarles here on In Focus Kentucky. Be sure to stay with us as we continue our conversation and bring you more with him.
In 2019, the biggest impediment and roadblock to industrial hemp was the federal law. Now that the Farm Bill is passed and industrial hemp is no longer a Scheduled I narcotic, the biggest issue facing industrial hemp is getting our states organized to try to make our laws uniform, but also have tweaks that may be specific to a certain state, and also trying to figure out what the federal guidelines are going to be, say with like the FDA, the DEA, and the USDA.
But first, we need to get a check of our latest weather on the One's forecast, and that's coming up right after this break.